Hey guys, welcome back. I know that we're still kind of like in Christmas season, which I'm trying to think when I post this. It will be after Christmas. It'll be after Christmas. And I am planning on doing a video where I clean up all of my Christmas decorations and go through them and declutter them because I feel like I have a lot that I keep, but that I never put out. And I really need to downsize the Christmas decorations. So I'm going to do that next time I have a video because the kids will be back at school. And I kind of like to wait until they're back to school until I start taking down Christmas. So, but what I'm going to do today is something, one, that I feel like everybody has right now, and two, was requested. So what we're going to tackle today is recycling. And the reason I feel like I'm going to do it now is because everybody has boxes right now from all the Christmas shopping. So I feel like everybody probably has a decent sized recycling pile. And mine is more than just Christmas because if you'll notice it here, hopefully I'm getting it in here. Some of this probably looks familiar, and it's because it was from the last video. Well, this wasn't the last video. I don't know, 2 or 3 videos ago maybe, where I tackled picking this up, and then I never took it. So it's still sitting here, which, by the way, after I got that cleaned up in the video, I talked about how I said, I know it. As soon as I take this, Sam was going to say something about it. I am not even kidding you when I say that I cleaned that up. And then it was only just a couple of days. And he's like, hey, I saw that you picked up the recycling out there. Don't get rid of my cardboard things that I made. So those are back in the house. The box that they were in is still here, but all the rest of it is back in the house. And he's actually been playing with it again. So that's why I didn't take it. Glad I didn't. But now it needs to go. So I'm going to give you a better look at this pile here. But the request that I had was to show how I do recycling. We live in an area that they don't pick up recycling. So if you wanted to do recycling, you have to take it yourself. We do have a good center where we can take it, but it's kind of a chore. I only take it like once or twice a month. I do leave it right here with these totes because I feel like I'm more likely to take it, like load it up in the car. A lot of times when they get full is when I will just easily put them in the car and take it. But sometimes life happens and it gets out of control and then it's a job. And then I will take you to the recycling center with me and show how I sort it and explain what they take and all of that fun stuff. So I'm going to just probably speed this up a little bit, but I'll do a voiceover and talk about what all I have in here and what all I recycle. There's some things that they take that we just don't have, and I'll maybe go over that more when I go to the recycling center. So I'm going to show you this mess and we're going to get it cleaned up. Okay, so now I'm going to give you a good look at this pile. So this is a mixture of a lot of things. You know, you're seeing a lot of like Christmas boxes. So that's kind of the surface area. Deeper is going to be like tin cans and glass jars and things like that I had already sorted. And then on this side, this is where you can see that we've just so conveniently thrown plastic jugs and glass jars and things like that as we've needed to recycle them because now there's nowhere to put them. And behind this wall of recycling, they are clear from the door. So when we come in, we don't have to look at it. So that's nice. But however, it's pretty bad back here. So we're just going to break all this down. And my goal is to try and get it inside those 2 totes. That's the challenge that I'm giving myself. And I am confident that I'm going to be able to do it. So let's get this done. Okay, so when I have a big box like this, which by the way, I just remembered, this is, I'm pretty sure filled with things like this. Because I'm pretty sure that we started throwing them here because this got full. Oh wait, no, it's not. I emptied it. I emptied it to get Sam's cardboard stuff out. So that's exciting. That's exciting. Okay. So anyway, whenever I have a big box like this, instead of breaking it down, I will take advantage of it and I will typically, instead of filling it with things like this that I have to sort, I will fill it with more cardboard. And the reason is, and I'll show you this when I get to the recycling center, but there's a sorting section where you sort like the tin cans and jugs and paper, all that kind of stuff. But then at the back of the building, they have in like a gated area that's just for like mass amounts of cardboard where you can just throw it over the gate. And so instead of breaking down lots of cardboard and putting in a little sort window, I'll just get as much of it as I can in here. And then that way I can just take this whole box and just throw it over the gate. So that does save me some work in the long run. So if you have a big box like this, definitely take advantage of it and just fill it with more cardboard. So that's what I'm going to do with this box here. And then in the totes, I'm going to try to get mainly just my sorting materials down into those. So that's what we're going to do. Okay, another thing too. So this Gushers box is actually pretty sturdy cardboard, but it has that like shiny side to it. So one thing that I'm still unclear about, and if there's anybody that's watching this from my area that knows the answer, please feel free to comment and let me know. But there's a difference, I think, between, I think my dog is in a space that she's not supposed to be at. I think I just heard her. Anyways, so this kind of cardboard that's shiny, I think there's something, okay, there's not a separate section that's called paperboard. There's just cardboard. But then I think when you go on the website and look it up, there's a whole separate section that's called paperboard, which I think is this. It's just kind of like that real thin cardboard. I'm not 100% sure. I just go ahead and recycle it. Oh, here, this is why. On the bottom, also, if you ever have questions about what you can recycle, on the bottom packages, there will be the recycling logos, which I don't know if I'm going to zoom in here. And it will tell you what part of the package is recyclable. So, for example, on this one, the box is recyclable. The individual pouches are not. So, but on this box, it says paper box. And so I don't know if it's because some like other areas that have like bigger cities or something have separate. I don't know. I recycle these as cardboard. So that's what we're going to be doing with all of these kinds of boxes. Again, since this is kind of a bigger box, I will just continue to fill it with smaller pieces of cardboard. Jeez, ew. And then throw the whole thing over the gate. Okay, I don't know how everyone else is, but I am a good box person. So especially if it's a smaller box, because I can't tell you how often I will be needing to wrap a present, and I'm like, man, I just need like a small, tall, narrow box. So if I ever get a box that's unique, but a good box, then I'm going to keep it. And I know that's probably not a good idea. Like this box, for example, I have a very hard time getting rid of this box. And the reason is because a lot of times in the back corner over there, I will usually have a Goodwill pile going. So in those situations, I probably will keep this box. These ones that are a little bit deeper, I'll keep those. And I will put them in the back corner. Then that way, as I'm getting things around the house, like for Goodwill, I have boxes to put them in. Because a tip that I have for donating to Goodwill is never put them in containers you care about. Because if you have to take them back out of the container, like a tote, for an example, then you may second guess getting rid of it. And if it made it into the cardboard box, if it made it into the cardboard box to begin with, it needs to go to Goodwill. So use boxes you don't care about for Goodwill. One of the most annoying things that I have with recycling is when I get a box that has styrofoam in it, because styrofoam does not recycle, which maybe it does. I don't ever see anything about styrofoam, which bothers me because we can't burn it because it's bad for the environment. But then we throw it away, which is bad for the environment. So I don't like styrofoam. And that's something that I wish I knew something different to do with. We don't get a lot of it, but I do hate when we get it. This box, because it's tall and narrow, I won't keep it for anything, but this is a good box to put things like these smashed down cereal boxes and things like that in, because it'll just file right in there and you can get a lot of those in there. In these totes here, I'm just going to be putting plastic bottles, glass jars, paper, grocery sacks, magazines, newspapers, things like that. We do not do a lot of magazines or newspapers. We don't really get any. And if I ever do, I make sure to tear off my address off of them first. If you have jugs and things like that, you want to give them a good rinse. These labels right here probably should be taken off, but they're kind of plasticky, so I leave them on. On the glass jars, I usually do take off the label, and then on the tin cans I do, but I always give everything a rinse after it's empty, and then just once it's dry, throw it in here. And I just try to do whatever I can to, so that I don't want it to be gross. I don't want it to be gross when I throw it in there. I feel like that's just making more work for other people and kind of defeats the purpose of what you're doing. So I just try to do as much as I can in this area, especially to keep it from being nasty. So that's what we're going to do here. So I'll kind of just try to, it doesn't really matter how you sort it, whatever you want to do. I'll probably in one of them just do like plastic bags and jugs, because I know that they're right next to each other, and then tin cans and glass in the other. So that's it. This paper that I get in packaging, I usually do recycle this in the, I think there's one that says assorted paper, assorted office paper. I put that in there. It's the only one that says paper, so that's where I put that. I would like to take a minute, and honestly, this video is not sponsored in any way, but I would like to take a minute to thank Walmart, because they are what inspired me to recycle, because they give me so many grocery bags when I do grocery pickup that I honestly was like, I can't just throw all these bags away. I mean, there's so many. And I get that they probably have their rules for the way they bag things up, you know, but when I get a bag that has one little onion in it, I can't, to me, I'm like, why are we doing that? Put it in the bag with the bananas. I mean, I don't know, but I get so many plastic bags, I can't throw them away. I mean, look at this. This is just absurd. And I keep some. So, yeah. Thank you, Walmart, for motivating me to do my part to save the planet, because oh my god. Okay, if you guys watch my Christmas decorating video, then you will know that these things These lights are trying their damnedest to be kept. I have been haunted by these lights this Christmas season. And every time I pick them up, I think about keeping them. And I think that they must know because they just keep showing up. I mean, they showed up in the recycling, for crying out loud. Oh. Okay, now that I have all of the recycling packed up here and nice and neat, I'm so happy I got the miscellaneous things all in these 2 totes like I wanted. And that way, these 3 are bigger boxes. All I have to do is just throw them over the gate. So I will show you where you would put it if you don't have this much. But this is nice because it makes it easier for me. I can just throw it over the gate. I am not going to take recycling today. But what I am going to do that I just know helps me to take it is if I go ahead and get it in the car now, then I will be forced to take it, like the next time I'm in town. I don't live in town. I live about 15 minutes outside of town. And so I don't just take it every week. But if I do put it in the back of the car, then the next time I'm in town to get a grocery pickup, especially if I'm forced to get it out of the back of the car, like to get a grocery pickup or something like that, then I will take it. But if I just pick it up and then put it right back over here, you guys have obviously seen me do it. I will not pick it up. I won't take it. I'll just leave it sit there. So I'm going to go ahead and put it in the car. That way, the next time I'm in town, I will be forced to go take it. So that's a tip from me. And there have been lots of times where I don't take, or I'm in town and I don't want to take it, but I'm forced to take it. And then I'm irritated at myself, but I get more irritated with myself when I let it sit here and pile up. So just a tip that I do and works for me. So I'm going to go ahead and get this in the car, and then I will take it. I think tomorrow is supposed to be pretty nice, and the next day. So I will film me taking it and cleaning it out and sorting it out whenever I go, so you can see that part of it. Okay, so I actually did not plan on coming to the recycling center today, but one of my kids needed dropped off, so here we are. So when you pull in, this is the sort area, and I've been to another. Well, I haven't been, but I saw another town nearby, and theirs looks very similar to this. So each little cubby hole has a little sign above it that tells you what goes in that section. And then on the other side of this building is where we're going to take I'm going to dump the big boxes of cardboard. I'll show you that here in a second. But if you just have small amounts of cardboard, then it will just go in those little cubbies down there at the end. And so I'll just show you here how I sort it. And then another nice thing about the recycling center is it is open 24/7, so you can come and bring your stuff anytime. So that's really nice. But anyway, so I'm going to sort this stuff out and then go around, and I'll show you where I dump the cardboard. Okay, reading from our local recycle center's website, this is what you can recycle. And let me just say, I kind of looked over this for a second, and reading through here, I learned some things that I had already discussed in my video, and I also answered some of my questions that I had by reading this. So I should have looked at this website before I filmed. So there's that. Anyway, so this is what you can recycle. You can recycle cardboard, and what that is just your normal cardboard and chipboard, which is like cereal boxes, which is also, I think, known as like paper board. It must be empty and it must be flattened, and paper bags. So I think the brown paper that I had would actually go in the cardboard section instead of the assorted office paper. But I do want to say also that the cardboard being flattened, I know if it's mass cardboard in that back gated area, I never see that broken down, so I don't break it down for that area. But anyway, you can also do newspaper. It has to be clean and dry newspaper only. Glossy inserts can also be included. glass is clear, brown, and green glass bottles and jars. Labels do not have to be removed. So I'm going to quit doing that. I thought I had to remove them, so that's good to know. No plate glass, mirrors, or window glass. I know that the glass can't be broken. Plastic bottles, jugs, or containers that have not stored automotive fluid and they've been rinsed and the lids are removed. No styrofoam. Magazines, catalogs, and magazines of high gloss paper only. Sorted office paper, which is photocopy, notebook, typing, or computer paper in envelopes. And then tin or aluminum cans. These are tin cans, labels removed and rinsed thoroughly. Place lid on the bottom of can. No aluminum foil or baking pans. And then plastic grocery bags. So that is everything that is listed for recycling. And again, I am disappointed to see that there's not anything with styrofoam other than no styrofoam. But anyway, so yeah, that's just for the 24/7 recycling center part of it. The transfer station is a whole separate section, and they have a whole separate list of things that you can take in that area. Okay, so we just got back from taking the recycling, and this is where I keep the empty bins, and I forgot to tell you about what bins I use. So I did a lot of research on bins that I could get from Amazon, like actual recycle bins, and I didn't like any of them because they were nice because they were stackable and all that. They had either they had a little flap door, just an open space to put stuff in, but they weren't very big. And I think if you lived in town and you were close and took recycling once a week, then they'd probably be okay. Or if you just use them until recycling was picked up, which, like I said, we don't have recycle pickup. So I ended up just getting these totes from Walmart, and I was looking to see if I had what size they are. I do. These are 27 gallons. And then what I did was I just took my box cutter and cut open the lid, which, it's a half-ass job, but it works. But that allows me to just throw stuff in them whenever I'm throwing, recycling, like, each day I can just like come out here and throw stuff in. But that little lip on the lid that I left, it allows me to still stack them. And this has just worked well for me. So makes it easy to, to store the stuff and to put it in my car and take it, which kind of brings me to, it is a job, but the mess that you guys have seen is like my worst recycling mess. Typically, once these get full or just overflowing is when I will take them. So then it's not a big chore. I was also just going to touch base on recycling. I know it's a pain. Sometimes I'll have like people roll their eyes at me about recycling, but I don't know. Actually, it was kind of funny because when I was sorting the stuff out, an older lady pulled up and she was recording me recording myself sorting the stuff out. So that was fun. But I actually had a nice chat with her. She was a really nice lady, and we were just talking about recycling and landfills and just how sometimes we'll see like other people's garbage that they have at the end of the street and how much it is. Like, when I put my garbage out once a week, we have on average maybe 2 bags, sometimes maybe 3, depending on if there's something special going on. Like if we have a party, a birthday party or something, then we might have an extra bag. But for the most part, we never have so much garbage as it's sitting out on the ground or anything like that. It saves us so much trash. And I don't know. I guess my thoughts on recycling is like, you saw how much stuff I just took. Like, that's just my part and what I could keep from going to the landfill. And when you look at landfills, that's nothing in comparison to what actually ends up in the landfills. It's not even, I guess people probably feel like it's not enough to even make a difference. And, that may be true, but I feel like if we all did our part, then it does make a difference. And that's all we can do is our part. And that's why I'm going to do my part to recycle what I can. I shouldn't choose to not do the right thing just because other people choose to not do the right thing. I'm not saying if you don't recycle, I'm not saying shame on you, how dare you, or anything like that. I'm not saying anything if you don't recycle. That's you. I'm saying for me personally and the way I feel about it, I feel like it is my duty to do what I can to help the planet. I can't control anybody else. I can't, my efforts won't do anything for anybody else's efforts. But all I can do at the end of the day is what I can do. And that's just one thing I can do. So, like I said, it's not a lot, but it makes me feel good to know that all of this stuff that could have just ended up in the landfill didn't. And I know it's more work and it's a pain. And there's a lot of times where I'm like, it is easier to throw stuff away. But it does bother me to know that things that end up in the trash, especially things that can't be recycled, it bothers me that there are things that we produce so much of in this world that can't be recycled or don't get recycled, and then they just will be sitting there for like thousands of years because the world can't break it down. So yeah, like I said, if you don't recycle, I'm not saying anything against you. I'm just telling you my reasons for recycling and why I feel like it's important to recycle. And it is difficult. Like it bothers me that we live in a world where all of our fruits and vegetables come in plastic bags. Like I feel like it's not necessary. And I actually don't know now that I'm thinking about it if those plastic bags can even be recycled because they're not under the label of grocery bags. So that's where I kind of get wishy-washy about recycling is I feel like there's things that come in all the time that can't be recycled. But how you go around that? I know people will say farmers markets and whatever. We don't live in an area that has a lot of farmers markets or any farmers markets really once a year. But if I could go to a place and shop and get my fruits and vegetables without them having to come in plastic bags, I totally would. But in a lot of areas, that's just not the case. And in a lot of areas, those same areas typically, they may not have the resources to recycle as much as other areas. So I don't really know. But all I know is that this is just what I feel like I can do in my area with what I have coming out of my house. And I feel like it is our home's responsibility to do our part in what we do with our trash. So, and I hope that this didn't scare you from doing recycling because you saw the mess that I had. Please know that is literally a few months at least worth of recycling, and life has happened. There's just been a lot of extra things going on, including the holidays, and I just haven't got around to taking it, so it became a job. So, but typically, if you can find a system for yourself to keep up on it, it really is worth it. And it's not that big of a deal. This is what has worked best for me. And I've only been using these totes for, I don't know. It's been less than a year, but putting the stuff in these totes and then putting them in the back of my car is really just what works for me to stay on top of it. It used to all go back in the back corner where I keep the Goodwill stuff now. And it was out of sight, out of mind. And that got bad. So, it's a lot of trial and error. So, I encourage you to try to start, find a little system for yourself. If it doesn't work, try something new. But I am not going to link the website to the recycling center in the description because I just don't want to put my local information in the description. But if you Google your area's transfer station, recycling center, most of them have a website and it will tell you what you can and can't recycle. If you are from my area and you want me to share the link with you, I have it and I can share that with you as well. So, but anyway, so that's it. That's how I recycle and it's what works for me. And I hope that you guys found this helpful. If not, or there's questions or anything like that, just leave them in the comments and I'll answer as much as I can. I am not doing probably as much as I could. I wish I could go greener in a lot of ways than I am. I may not be doing all of this right. Like, you know, someone may see this and be like, hey, you're not supposed to put that there or whatever. But this is just what I've learned to do. And I would love to find more ways that I could do my part. And I'm sure that there are a lot of ways that I could be doing things different and I miss it. But you know, we grow and we learn. So anyway, that's it. So I hope you guys took something from this video with the recycling, and I would love to hear what, you know, systems that you have or anything that you're planning on starting to do or anything like that that, you know, might get you excited to start trying to recycle. So happy recycling. Bye. Ow, ow, oh, and my knees and my hips. Oh, getting so old. Oh, God.